Hey folks, Thursday night was the top 10 results show on season 2 of The X Factor. 2 acts got to go home for the holiday, which is normally a good thing, but in this case not so much. This entire episode, I was left wondering if Simon Cowell was storing Thanksgiving dinner in his cheek, like a chipmunk. His face was all puffed out. I'm not sure what's going on with Simon's face this season, but if I was his mom, I think I would be a little bit concerned because remember back during the summer, he missed the auditions, I think it was in Kansas City, and then he was avoiding the press for a long time, and the experts were saying that he had a neck lift because he had a bandage behind his ear, but if he had a neck lift, somebody did a hack job on that old thing because it looks more deflated and lumpy than it does lifted, and now he's got this lumpy thing on the side of his face, on his jaw. And did you notice that for the entire episode on Thursday night, he kept his hand up over his face? And so that's kind of strange. I hope it's nothing major. Anyway, on to the show. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, the top 10 took a trip to a school in Los Angeles and took credit for fixing up their music room, even though I don't think any of them had to really get their hands dirty. All the real work was done by Best Buy, so now these lucky kids have a fancy new music room littered with Best Buy logos. Well, I guess the idea is that the kids will become better musicians with a refurbished music room. If that's the case, they need to lock CeCe and Paige in there for a few years. Anyway, then the school's choir joined the top 10 for a live performance of Fix You. I kept having flashbacks to last year's Intensity. Well, I guess they all did a pretty good job, though. I didn't see any of them pass out or throw up. I would have done both. I was in the choir for a year back in my school days. I hated getting on stage. Well, I wasn't worried about messing up, though. I mean, I lip-synced my way through it. I was a regular little Britney Spears. I didn't sing a note all year, but I passed with flying colors. I guess the teacher liked me, so I got away with it. Actually, I think the real reason I got away with it is because she used to date my stepdad, and I guess she didn't want me to tell the whole school that she kept rabbits in her bathtub. Anyway, moving on, Cher Lloyd was there to perform her new single, Oath. Very catchy song, but it was almost annoying because I couldn't get it out of my head. Simon loves to import his success stories from the other side of the pond, but just like with One Direction, they forgot to mention that she didn't win. I like Cher Lloyd though, so it's okay. Anyway, on to the results. The first act to have their holiday ruined was Arin Ray. He had the lowest number of votes, and he didn't look very surprised. Well, I don't think anybody was really surprised. He actually handled his elimination better than he handled the negative feedback that he got on Wednesday night. His godmother, she didn't handle any of it well, though. She was trash-talking Britney Spears on Twitter for being a bad mentor. Arin later went on Damage Control and said that she wasn't speaking for him, but wasn't that basically what he said on Wednesday night when he said that he wasn't getting to do the kind of music that he wanted to do? Well, he can go around now all he wants saying that Britney was a great mentor, but I don't think he really believes that. I don't know, maybe he's just trying to leave some wiggle room in hopes that he can come back next season and try to get a spot in the young adults category. Yeah, right, listen to me, next season. Rounding out the bottom three and singing for survival was CeCe Frey and Beatrice Miller. First up was CeCe with Kelly Clarkson's Because of You. Demi once again introduced her as CeCe Frey. If we all know how to say it, why doesn't she? Poor Demi Lovato. I mean, she's got one act that she voted to eliminate, and one act whose name she can't even pronounce. Her team is wrecked. Speaking of wrecked, CeCe's performance was exactly what you would expect from CeCe Frey singing a Kelly Clarkson song. She kept pawing at her ears while she was singing, though. I was pawing at mine, too, but probably for different reasons. I think she was trying to pull something out of her ear. I was fumbling around looking for something to put in mine. No, to be fair, it wasn't the worst we've ever heard from CeCe. I think she got about 25% of it right, so I'd give it a D-. It's an improvement. Beatrice Miller sang White Flag, which I thought would have been a perfect song choice for her if she had been in an emotional state to pull it off without sounding like a bag of Wildcats. Unfortunately, though, she butchered it, so the sing-off I would pretty much put even, but given the fact that this was CeCe's third sing-off, it would have been a really easy decision to send her packing. Demi and Britney, of course, voted down party lines. L.A. voted to send Beatrice home, but he didn't really give a reason. And Simon voted to send Beatrice home because he doesn't think she's ready. Why? Because she was crying? CeCe Frey's been boo-hooing for the better part of the season. And what kind of reaction does Simon really expect from a 13-year-old? You can't expect a 13-year-old to be on the same maturity level as people with 2 or 3 times their age and experience. It's just another reason why I think the teens category was a mistake. Oh, and then Khloe Kardashian had the nerve to ask Beatrice if she was okay. She's standing there crying her eyes out, and Khloe's like, "Are you okay?" "Sure, she's peachy." Then when Britney joined Beatrice on stage, Khloe was like, "So, what do you want to say to her? I know you've got, like, kids around her age." Britney's kids are like 5 and 7, aren't they? Khloe is such a Kardashian. Anyway, on to the rankings. Coming in at number 7 is Fifth Harmony. They looked a little bit confused, like they didn't know whether to clap or cry. Unless they do something completely different next week and nail it, they'll probably be the next ones gone. Number 6 is Paige Thomas. We saw a clip from Paige from Wednesday night, and she said, and I quote, "I didn't sing it to sound good. I sang it to show what I felt." Yeah, we could tell. A good performer could do both at the same time, so I suspect we might be seeing the final CeCe Page showdown next week. Coming in at number 5 is Diamond White. I would have put her at number 1 this week, but I guess number 5 is about as far as she's ever going to be able to get at this point. The same 4 acts have occupied the top 4 for 2 weeks running, and they're probably going to stay in the top 4 until the final 4. Number 4 is again Emblem 3. Did y'all see one of the Emblem 3 boys dry humping Khloe Kardashian at the end of the show? No, boys. The idea is to make yourself more likable. You don't do that by cozying up to a Kardashian. Word on the street, though, is that Khloe's little sister's in love with Emblem 3, so Khloe got their phone number, and Mama Kardashian called and asked them to come sing at little sister's birthday party. They said no. Number 3, as always, is Vino Alan. I guess he's just going to stay at number 3 right up until the end. This is really making me hate that they're revealing the rankings because it feels like we're spending 10 weeks in a two-way race. Tate Stevens finally fell out of the top spot and came in at number 2 this week, so the number 1 spot this week goes to Carly Rose Sonnenblerg, or at least that's what Mario Lopez called her. It seemed like a real effort from Simon & Company, though, to dislodge Tate from the number 1 spot this week. Well, having him perform first to lukewarm feedback and Carly going last with a standing ovation, it's going to be tougher to manipulate it like that once it gets toward the end, so I still think Tate's going to win. And he always goes earlier in the show, and she always goes towards the end, so I think he'll probably be back at number 1 next week if they reveal the rankings next week, which I'm starting to think they probably will stop doing now. So anyway, leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about the show. Let me know if you think the right person went home. Who do you think's going home next? And what do you think's going on with Simon's face? And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. If you've already done it, don't bother. Anyway, I'll see you folks next time.